Hi, Dr. Crowe. This is Stephen Pittman, and this is my first submission for my creative journal. This is my title page. Okay, get right into it. My first entry is called Love Grows, and this is pretty much a page dedicated to my wife, April. That's April and I at our senior prom back in '97, and this is a picture of us at our wedding in 2004. And pretty much this is just a opening page to say thank you to my wife for always being there for me. My wife, she's my best friend. She keeps me grounded. She keeps me in check. She's a great friend. She's a fantastic mother, and she's an all-around wonderful person. And I couldn't have asked anybody else to spend my life with. So that's my first entry, and that's called Love Grows. Let's see. Second entry is called my greatest accomplishment, and this is dedicated to my son Aiden. You see pictures here of Aiden at different stages of his life. 2-3 months here, a year and a half there. This is the most recent picture of him. That was taken about a month ago, and I wrote a little acrostic poem for him, and this pretty much captures Aiden to a T. Amazingly curious, yearning to learn because he's curious and wants to know how everything works so he can take it apart. D is daring to be Spider-Man because he's a daredevil. He has no fear. E is for endlessly irresistible. And the N is for nothing is too tough. One thing I love about my little boy, anytime he's confronted with a challenge, he figures some way around it, some way over it. He does not give up very easily. So that's one thing I'm very proud of. All right, entry 3 is pretty much a page dedicated to my little family. It's called My Family, My Life, and that's a picture there of all three of us. I wrote a little poem, and it's called We Are a Family. It says, the smiles on our faces, the noses on our faces, we are a family. Sometimes life gets tough, but we all pull together. We are a family. A love that binds, a love that's kind. This is a family's love. Okay, and Aiden wanted to put his little initials here, so that's Aiden's signature. All right, that's entry 3. All right, this page right here, this entry is called, it's entry 4. It's called A Broken Leg and Broken Hearts. This is probably the most important entry for me because 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, well, yeah, my little boy fell and broke his leg. He was playing with one of his toys, and he tripped over one of the bowling pins, and he did a split. And when he did a split, his leg was turned around backwards. So we had to take him to the hospital. He had to go to the emergency room, and this is a picture here of me holding him at Wake Hospital in Raleigh. And as I was sitting there holding him, I felt so helpless. He was in such pain. I was in such pain, but there was nothing I could do to help him. Just sit there and hold him. And as I kept looking at this picture, this quote just came to my mind. It says, "The truest measure of a parent's love is put to the test when their child is experiencing the greatest pain imaginable." And that pretty much sums up what I was feeling right here. And that was the hardest thing for me was to see my child in that kind of pain, and really I could do nothing to help him. And down here is a picture of Aiden. This picture was taken 3 days, I think, before he had his cast removed, and by that time he had kind of gotten used to it. But he spent the entire summer of 2010 in a cast like you see here, and the summer of 2010 was a hot one, and there were some days where all he would do was scream and yell, and that was a pretty stressful summer. So that's my entry 4. Okay. Entry 5 is called A Teacher's Prayer. This is a poem that I received when I started teaching about 10 years ago, and it's always stuck with me, and I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but it basically says, that as teachers, we are charged with teaching curriculums, teaching what's in our lesson book, but there are so many things that we need to teach that are not part of the curriculum, like life lessons, morals, and values. And I've always loved this poem. And over here off to the side, I've drawn books. I've drawn a desk, and down here at the bottom, these two little apples. Okay? And then here's just my reflection of the poem. It's pretty much what I just said, that we as teachers, although we're charged with teaching a state-mandated curriculum or a curriculum of some mandate, there are so many things inside that curriculum that we don't get to teach that need to be taught. Manners, being polite is one thing. Okay, so that is entry 5. Let's see. Let's get one. Okay, sorry. Entry 6 is called New Horizons. The other day, on Thursday, I received an email to call our Human Resources Department at my local school district. And I've been informed that I'm going to be transferred to our district's high school to work in the guidance department. And this was totally out of left field. I had planned to stay in the classroom for one more year. But I was told that I'm being moved, and I'm really excited. I'm really scared. I've worked where I work now. I work at a place called Chandler Middle School. I've been there for 6 years, and it's a great group of people. And I'm going to really hate to leave those folks behind. But this is a new and good opportunity. And here's a picture. I'm not much of an artist, but this is kind of me. There's a door about to open, and I'm about to step through. So that is entry 6. All right. Entry 7 referred to the Blackboard assignment, talking about literature that is life-changing, that is reaffirming. And I wrote about 2 books and a couple of poems. One of the books is Rick Warren's A Purpose-Driven Life, which talks about living a life of purpose and a life of meaning for God. Another book I talk about is Tuesdays with Maury, which is a book about a sports writer who goes back to see his former professor, and they bond. And the professor teaches some life lessons, some much-needed life lessons that this character, Mitch Albom, he had kind of forgotten. Okay. 2 poems that have always stuck with me. I read these when I was a youth, and pretty much all of these books, with the exception of the Rick Warren book, I read during my youth or young adult years. One of the poems that has always stuck with me is Dylan Thomas's poem "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night," which talks about overcoming obstacles in the face of fear and even death. And another poem is Robert Frost's poem, The Road Not Taken. And I've always liked The Road Not Taken because it talks about how we have to be our own person. We have to not follow the crowd and stand up and be a determined individual. Okay, that's that one. And excuse me, for entry number 8, this is the use of a bibliotherapeutic practice, and I've used the cluster drawing. What I did here, I put the word frustrated in the middle, and I just talked about different areas of my life where I have frustration. For example, my family, work, grad school, the government, society, and this really helped me because it kind of helped me to focus in on what stresses me out, and and it also helped me to see, one is not responsible for the other, and sometimes I kind of take my frustrations with graduate school out on family, or vice versa. Okay? And I'm also, let's see. This also helped me to see that there are some things in my life that frustrate me that I really don't have that much control over. I just have to learn to kind of let some things go. But I can definitely see using the cluster web, especially with kids who would come into my office who are, frustrated and ill or sad, and I'll say, what's wrong? I don't know. Well, a cluster map would be a good way for them to kind of brainstorm and get their ideas out for the counselor to help them. All right. That is my 8th entry, and that's all I have. And I'm finishing just in time. Thank you, Dr. Crowe. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.